Morning. It's good to see you today. I hope you had a great weekend. I had a busy, packed weekend, and it was so good to be able to just enjoy that. We had some friends over, some people that we're reaching out to coming over to the house on Friday. We had friends coming over from Lynchburg on Saturday. We had a Wake Forest Liberty football game that was exciting down to the very last play, and getting to really enjoy that time with each other. My kids were there, the band was there, and then we just had a wonderful Sunday service, and not just a wonderful Sunday service, but our women had a great event. I think nearly 30 people there last night at the women's event. So excited about all the things that God's doing around us, and things are just picking up. Now we've got some like business stuff that's coming up, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday is our quarterly church conference, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there at our church conference. A lot of great things will be going on. I always remind people that our church conference is an opportunity to worship God through the work of the church. We're going to be getting together and we're asking the question, God, what do you want us to do as a church? And if you come to a business meeting and you think it's about, oh, well, let's just balance the books or talk a few things, you're missing out the real intent of a business meeting. A business meeting is an opportunity for us as a church to gather together and say, thus saith the Lord. What is God calling us to do? What is God calling us to be? And we'll see here in the months coming that we've got a lot of things that are happening, a lot of exciting things. Homecoming's coming up. It's just a few weeks away. And then after homecoming comes up, we've got the Mylan Hayes family that's coming to sing on the 9th. And then we got Pumpkin Patch showing up that week after the Mylan Hayes family. Sometime that week, the pumpkins are going to be showing up. We're going to be loading it up. We've got the women that are going to be feeding all the men that are going to come out and load all the stuff up for the Pumpkin Patch. If you've got a small trailer, a wheelbarrow, a wagon, a little gator or something like that you can use to help us get those pumpkins out, man, that would be so helpful. Last year we broke a lot of backs getting things going, but I look forward to seeing what God's going to do with us again this year. And so we're excited about those things that are coming up. When the pumpkins are here, there's going to be a lot of interesting and fun things that are going on. Just an opportunity to meet people. We had such a great time last year meeting people, getting to really enjoy each other's company and be able to meet people from our town and our community. And this year we're doing 3 weekends that we're going to get in on our pumpkin patch. So we want to encourage you to come and to be a part of that stuff. And then the fun doesn't start there. Then we head into November and we head into the December months. We're getting ready for Christmas and just so many exciting things that are going on. And I look forward to seeing you at every single one of those things that you can be a part of. Now we try to encourage people, you don't have to come to everything that goes on at the church, but I want you to find the things that you're passionate about and get involved in it. And especially, and I still want to remind some of you, we've been here about a year and a half, Kim and I have, and we've loved every single minute of being here. We're excited about what God is doing in the church, but God has done so many things in the church over the past 100 years. And looking back at what God's done, a lot of that got shut down over the COVID time. A lot of that stuff kind of got put on the back burner. You know what? We're getting to the point where society is moving and zooming again. All right. Society is full throttle again. I mean, yeah, you got a few places where maybe there's still, your Food Lion's got a line where you could still come and call in your groceries and have it delivered there. But for the most part, people are going to grocery stores. They're going shopping. They're getting out there and having meals at restaurants with their friends and their families. And as a church, it's time for us to continue to ask ourselves, what are those things that we've done in the past that God is calling us to do again in the future? And it's time to get those things moving and rolling again. And so many of those things, if you're fairly new to the church, if you've only been here 2-3 years, you may not really realize what is a part of the tradition and history of the church. And so we're looking forward to you stepping up and saying, you know what, this is something I used to be a part of and I want to be a part of it again. How can I be a part of getting this moving, getting this going, getting inspired and excited about the things that are happening? And so I look forward to hearing some ways that you can remind us, especially as homecoming's coming up, of things that God has blessed us with in the past. And as you pray about it, find out those things that you believe God is calling us to be a part of again in the future. And so I look forward to hearing that from you and excited about what God is going to be doing here in the future. We're finishing up our time of talking about spiritual warfare. If you were here this Sunday, it might have been something that was difficult at some point in time to hear. We talked about in spiritual warfare, and here's the way we get in trouble with this so many times. Sometimes there's people in spiritual warfare that don't play fair. Did you know that the devil is not out there to win anymore? He knows that he's lost. The Bible clearly tells us that he's there to steal, kill, and destroy. He's not there to win. He knows that he was defeated on the cross. He might have thought that by killing Jesus, he was going to win. But 3 days later, when Jesus rose again, he knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that there was no victory for him. And so he's not out there trying to win anymore. He is out there trying to destroy things that are going on out there. And so in spiritual warfare, sometimes we get confused because we're playing two different games. We think we're playing to reach the lost. We think we're playing to go out there and make an impact in our communities. And that's what we're doing. But we think the opposite's true, that Satan's out there saying, okay, well, these are the rules, I'm going to follow them. No, he just wants to bring you down. He wants to bring your church down. He wants to bring your community down. He wants to bring your state down. He wants to bring your country down. He wants to bring your planet down. He just wants to steal, kill, and destroy. And he does a good job of that in many, many ways. And the only way we're going to be able to stop it is by us engaging in that spiritual war, by us listening to what God's telling us to be a part of when it comes to our community, our church, our families, our nation. And we stand up for the things that God's calling us to stand up against, that we are part of that army of God that's out there doing the work that God's called us to do. And so I'm excited to hear about ways that you can be a part of the army of God. I mean, I know our ladies last night talked about connecting and the ways that we connect, not just with one another, but the way we connect with ministries in our community. And so excited to hear and to see ways that we connect with our community through our clothes closets, through our women's missions activities, and so many different ways that we can connect with a lost and dying world out there. And I look forward to hearing ways that we can do that. Now, if you'll remember, we've been reading in the book of Acts about that day right after Pentecost. You know, the Holy Spirit comes, all the disciples go out and speak, and they're speaking in such a miraculous way that people are amazed. And now Peter and John have gone to the temple, and they've healed a man. And after healing a man, all of a sudden there's this huge new uproar. And so we're going to see what comes of that in Acts chapter 4, beginning in that very first verse. So in Acts chapter 4, beginning in verse 1, we begin to see what happens as a result of Peter and John going out there and healing. It says, the priests and the captain of the temple guard and the Sadducees came up to Peter and John while they were speaking to the people. They were greatly disturbed because the apostles were teaching the people, proclaiming in Jesus the resurrection of the dead. They seized Peter and John, and because it was evening, they put them in jail for the next day. But many who heard the message believed. So the number of men who believed grew to about 5,000. Wow. I mean, what a great story. Now, we're going to see a lot of what happens with that being an in jail thing, but I think that's a good place just to cap that out for today, to realize that Peter and John, Peter especially, who was afraid and denied Jesus just a few months ago, was scared of what might happen because the guards, the rulers, all the things that are going on. And now he's willing to stand up boldly and do the work that God's called him to do. I know in our Sunday school lessons, we're going through the book of James and talking about, a faith without works is dead. And here we see an example of that. They had faith in Jesus. Because they had faith in Jesus, it compelled them to do the things that Jesus called them to do. And just because we're compelled to do the things that Jesus called us to do doesn't mean everything is going to be hunky-dory. In fact, for the two of them, they get thrown in jail. But because of their preaching, because of their message, because they're giving their testimony who Jesus was, it says the numbers have now increased to about 5,000 men. They're in the women and other people. This is starting to be the size of a whole